Bam Rodriguez versus Rungvisai. And when this fight was announced a couple months ago, I had to take a triple take at my phone. And by the way, check out the betting odds below at calixboxing.com. Hit the sub button and the like button if you're not subbed, and hit those alerts as well. I had to triple take my phone. I was like, Bam Rodriguez is going to do what? He's going to stick around at 115, a weight class in which it's 2 weight classes north of a weight class he can still make. And he's sticking around after winning a title off of Carlos Cuadras. And he's going to stick around not only to stay around at 115, a Shark Tank division, arguably the best division in boxing, in my opinion anyway. And he's going to fight the toughest SOB in that weight class, and so Rungvisai. If you look at the Ring magazine ratings, Gallo Estrada, the champion, Rungvisai, the main challenger, the #1 challenger. And right now, Bam Rodriguez, a guy who is number 6. Okay, so you got a meaningful matchup on top of an entertaining matchup in these lower weight classes. On top of that, you got a stacked card. A little less stacked now that Julio Cesar Martinez is pulled out of his fight with McWilliams Arroyo, but still a stacked card that's going to give you a lot of entertainment value. One of the best cards of the year, if not the best card of the year, as far as entertainment value and meaningful fights from top to bottom. Bam Rodriguez is a special talent. And you know he's a special talent because, as I've preached about constantly on this channel, you can tell everything you need to know about a fighter by 2 things: how their handlers handle them and how their peers in and around the weight class react to them. And his peers obviously respect him, but his handlers are handling his career aggressively. We're talking about a guy 5 years in, 22 years old. He's already achieved what he's achieved at 15 fights in, 22 years old. But they're saying we're going to stick around at 115, even though we can go back down to 112, 108. We had many off-ramps that we could have taken before we got to Rungvisai, and instead we bypassed those off-ramps and went straight to Rungvisai's house and ended up on his doorstep. Normal fighters don't do that. It's special fighters who do that, who dare to be great like that, because their handlers have confidence in them and they have confidence in their own ability in order to take that risk and go for legacy. And this is the reason I love lower weight class fights, because more fighters go for legacy. More fighters are in legacy fights because they're forced into it, because they're not being paid the top dollars that upper weight class fighters are. They don't have that privilege. So they're forced into more legacy fights. And on top of that, they're more entertaining because they throw more punches. So this is fun. We're going to have a meaningful fight that's entertaining. And with Bam Rodriguez, he's a special fighter. But let's look at the Rat King first, Rungvisai, and why he's a hidden gem in boxing. And if he was a Gennady Golovkin at 160, Beterbiev at 175, we'd be talking about him the same way we talk about those guys. But we're not, because he's at 115. And he's from Thailand. And the American fight fans haven't been... the eyes haven't been on guys like Rungvisai, how they should be, because they don't pay attention to the lower weight classes here in America as much as the higher weight classes. With Rungvisai, you're talking about a guy who has won 23 out of his last 24 fights. 23 out of his last 24 since his loss in 2014 to Carlos Cuadras. He's fought 24 times, and he's beaten guys like Chocolatito twice, and he's split. His only blemish is a split decision loss to Gallo Estrada, the #1 guy in the weight class, and also a future Hall of Famer like Chocolatito. And that was in a rematch of a fight he had won in the first fight against Gallo Estrada, another close fight. So we're talking about a guy who arguably hasn't lost in 8 years, one blemish on his resume, and he's gone through a resume that's tough, 56 fights in. And that brings me to my wild card here. He's 56 fights in. He hasn't fought in 15 months. So a long layoff. His timing may be off, and his timing needs to be there against the Bam Rodriguez, because Bam Rodriguez is a special guy. Lateral movement, great combination puncher, and his timing is there. He's great on the front foot, back foot, lateral movement, great timing. His instincts are there. He has a killer instinct as well. Bam has it all. He has it all. young talent with a high ceiling. And he's coming up this crop of young American fighters: Bam Rodriguez, Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. All these guys are young. Stephen Fulton, young American fighters coming up with high ceilings. And Bam Rodriguez seems to have it all there, both mentally and physically. Technically, it all seems to be there. So with Sor Rungvisai, you say, yes, the power will always be there. He can send you to hell like that. 43 KOs and 50 victories. High KO percentage. He knocks guys out. He can knock you out methodically or stop you methodically by breaking you down over time, or he can knock you out with one punch. He possesses that type of power. And the power is the last to go. So even if he is on his back nine, which Rungvisai today, the one that Bam Rodriguez is going to fight Saturday night, is not the Rungvisai who Chocolatito fought 5 years ago. He's not. He's aged a little bit, and he's coming off a long layoff, but he's still dangerous. One of the most dangerous fighters in the sport, because the power is the last to go. And Sor Rungvisai is a guy who has layers to his game. You can't set up those punches against the quality of opponent he's fought if you don't have layers to your game. You have to have more than just power. And he has undervalued boxing ability. But I think the reason that Bam Rodriguez and his team have gone for the Sor Rungvisai fight now is because of the long layoff. And I think they see something stylistically in Rungvisai that they can take advantage of. And Vegas agrees with his team and myself, because I don't see much value in these odds that I'm seeing for this fight, because I think it's priced correctly. And what Vegas is seeing is -450 favorite for Bam Rodriguez, which means you have to bet $450 in order to win just 100 against Bam Rodriguez. So he's the healthy favorite here. And also the over-under is set at 10.5, which they're telling you, when they set it at 10.5, they think it's going to decision, especially when the over is -270. So the over is favorite over the under here. So Vegas seems to think that Bam Rodriguez is going to go rounds here, 12 rounds, and win a decision victory against Sor Rungvisai, and I agree with them. I agree with that. I think Bam's going to win this fight. I think he's going to have some hiccups at times. Rungvisai has too much power. Bam Rodriguez is a guy who keeps his hands free. He doesn't break the action. So Rungvisai is going to have opportunities to hit Bam Rodriguez with some nice shots in those exchanges when Bam Rodriguez is throwing combination punches. And he's going to hit Bam Rodriguez, and he could possibly hurt him in this fight. But I think Bam Rodriguez has a good chin. His team wouldn't be putting him up against Sor Rungvisai if he didn't. And I think he's going to get through this fight with flying colors. I think it's going to be one of his best performances of his career. And he's going to continue this trend of top fighters, what we've seen this year, particularly from April to June. Top fighters putting on top performances in their biggest spot. Bam Rodriguez by decision. God bless.